like to call the meeting to order. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Howard, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Amiditz? Mrs. Buckley?
Here.
Mrs. Cook?
Here.
Mr. Puhatch?
Here.
Mr. Rose?
Here.
Mrs. Rule?
Here.
Mr. Schubel?
Present.
Mr. Spacuzza?
Here.
Mr. Sestich?
Here.
You have 8 board members present this evening?
Thank you, sir. I need a motion to adopt the agenda for business items.
Move the adoption. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 8-0. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 24th, 2011.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That carries 8-0. I need to announce executive sessions held April 12th, 2011 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. April 16th, 2011 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. And April 21st, 2011 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. Staff report, Mrs. Rose.
Good evening. It's that time of year again when student and staff accolades begin to become more numerous, so bear with me this evening. We have quite a few slides. It's my pleasure to share all of the good news with you. The Pittsburgh Business Times recently released its 2011 Guide to Western Pennsylvania Schools and ranked the Bethel Park School District number 11 among the 104 school districts in a 7-county area based on PSSA scores for the past 2 years. Other highlights include Bethel Park High School 11th graders ranked as number 11, Independence Middle School 8th graders number 13, and 7th graders number 14. Neil Armstrong 5th graders number 13 and 6th graders number 14. Bethel Park 4th graders were at number 38 and 3rd graders at number 31. The district is ranked number 34 out of 497 school districts across the state. Congratulations to Bethel Park High School teacher Christopher Jack, who has been named one of the 12 regional finalists for the 2012 Pennsylvania Teacher of the Year. The 2012 Teacher of the Year will be announced in Harrisburg this fall. Since 2008, Mr. Jack is the 4th Bethel Park teacher to advance to the semifinal level and the 2nd to advance to finalist. We wish Mr. Jack the best as he continues through the selection process. Our high school and Independence Middle School students did very well this year at Science Olympiad, which was recently held at the California University of Pennsylvania. Bethel Park High School students Shannon Fagan, Jared Single, Brandon Hansen all earned first place awards. Jessica Plack, Rachel Bove, Kyle Barron, and Brandon Hansen earned second place awards. IMS students Aditha Krishnashad, Jack Brownfield, Alex Fleming, Amanda Hokai, Emily Augustine, and Adelaide Flowers earned third place awards, and Adelaide Flowers, Yelena Mervos, Emily Augustine, Amanda Hokai, Stephen Davis, Grant Wilson, and Alex Fleming all earned fourth place awards. Congratulations to all of them. The Bethel Park High School and Independence Middle School students also did well in the Pittsburgh Regional Science and Engineering Fair. 3 Bethel Park High School students won awards. Marla Vaughn received 2 sponsor awards, and Jared Single received 2 honorable mention sponsor awards. Willa Ment received a scholarship. IMS 8th graders Kristen Kohler also received a scholarship award. Congratulations to all of these students for their outstanding work. For the second consecutive year, a team of Bethel Park High School students from the Allegheny County Safe Driving Competition they won the Allegheny County Safe Driving Competition. Congratulations to Mary Jo Bailey, Thomas Bailey, and Jason Stewart for winning the competition. Thomas Bailey won the top individual driving competition and will compete at the state championships to be held in May. Several of our high school German students came away winners at the American Association of Teachers of German's German Day competition. Congratulations to Henry Pashore, Amanda Ruschel, and Logan Tuitt, who captured the top 3 spots in the Culture Bowl competition. Christy Ennis and Robbie Doer earned first-place awards. Matt Makoviak and Kaylee Poe earned second-place awards. John Pike was a third-place award winner. Congratulations also goes to the Bethel Park High School senior Megan Crawford, who was selected to receive a full scholarship to live and study in Germany next year as part of the Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange Program. Several BPHS and IMS Latin students earned recognitions for their outstanding performances on the National Latin exams. Congratulations to silver medalists. Aaron Hedgeland and Jared Single from the high school, magna cum laude certificate award winners Liz Lucchese from the high school, and IMS students Emily Kukin, Aditha Krishnashan, and John Bosco. And cum laude certificates awards went to Christian Hokai and Ann Walsh from the high school, and IMS 8th grader Keith Powell. 4 of the high school music students recently participated in 2 state music ensembles sponsored by the PMEA Association. Congratulations to Stephen Barnhart and Mark Debsky, who performed in the state orchestra, and Audrey Miller and Jennifer Searles, who performed in the state band. 6 Neil Armstrong musicians have been selected to perform in the PMEA Elementary District Band Fest West next month. Congratulations to Kenneth Barnhart, Julia Davin, Casey Hammer, Nathan Hopp, Maria J., and Joey Muser. Bethel Park High School senior Rob Hewler will be one of 4 high school seniors to be honored at the May 16th banquet as a WPIAL Scholar Athlete. Rob, who is a soccer player and wrestler at BPHS, will receive a $5,000 scholarship from the WPIAL at this event. Congratulations, Rob, for excelling in the classroom as well as on the athletic fields. Independence Middle School 7th grader Emily was one of 6 Pennsylvania students to receive an honorable mention in a letter writing contest sponsored by the Pennsylvania Center for the Book. Emily's letter to Jodi Picoult, author of the book House Rules, was chosen as one of the 10 best in the state. Congratulations to Emily. Neil Armstrong 6th grade students on Team Eclipse learned to spread some kindness and help the hungry by participating in a peanut butter and jelly collection. The drive brought in 155 jars of peanut butter and 140 jars of jelly, which were wrapped in care packages by the students and donated to the South Hills Interfaith Ministries. The students also met with representatives from the Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank, who talked to the students about nutrition, how to shop for healthy food on a budget, and volunteer opportunities with the food bank. The students decorated placemats and lunch bags for use at the food bank. It was a great project, and the students enjoyed participating in all of the activities. Our elementary students are doing their part to help with the tsunami and earthquake relief efforts in Japan. Bethel Park High School students Alexa Roth, Megan McLinden, Brittany Ott, and Michael Brucker coordinated a week-long fundraiser for their elementary alma mater, Memorial Elementary, which raised $1,340 for the Red Cross. At William Penn, the students participated in a week-long fundraiser to raise $1,000 for Brother's Brother. Both fundraisers involve students paying for the privilege to come to school each day dressed in the theme of the day. The favorite day at Memorial was PJ Day, and the favorite day at William Penn was Dress Up as Your Favorite Teacher Day. Congratulations to the winners of this year's Spelling Bees at Memorial. Alexa Sapesky won the 4th grade B, and Cameron Silman won the 3rd grade B. Nick Sowers and Emma Petrick were 2nd and 3rd in the 4th grade B, while Brian Reich and Henry Hunter were the runners-up in the 3rd grade B. And that concludes my report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Student government.
Good evening. We have a couple things going on in student government. In May, it's called Flowers for a Cure, where we collected money, and each person, it's for the Cancer Society, and it will benefit our Relay for Life team, and we're collecting the money, and we're planting a flower for someone who has lost the battle with cancer or is still battling cancer, so that's one thing that we're doing. And Counting for Coins, which will take place on April 27th. We'll be collecting coins, and that will benefit the American Cancer Society. We're having a school supplies drive on May 2nd through the 6th, and we'll collect it and disperse them to local communities. And Spirit Week, which is on May 2nd through the 6th also. So, thank you.
Great, thank you. PTA, PTO Council. Anybody from Council? Solicitor's report.
I have submitted a written report.
Thank you, sir. Before I ask for public comments this evening, I want to make a brief statement. For those of you who may be new to our voting meeting, procedurally, we only accept comments at the beginning of the meeting on items that are on the agenda tonight for voting. There will also be a public comment period at the end of tonight's meeting where the public can comment on any issue, regardless of whether it's on the agenda or not. Again, the first audience comment period is only for the issues that will be voted upon this evening. I want to make it clear to everyone in the audience and those who may be watching at a later date on cable TV that the board will not take any action this evening on any of the previously proposed programming and staffing cuts that were discussed at last week's committee meeting. In other words, the board will not be taking any action this evening that would have a staffing impact on the 2011-2012 budget. I want you to know that the board listened to all of the 74 comments made by speakers at our April 12th committee meeting, and we have gone back to the preliminary budget to look at the entire budget to see where cuts can be made in all areas, including academics, electives, athletics, and other extracurricular areas. We are looking at staffing at all levels, from administration through support staff. We still need to trim $928,000 from the budget before it can be passed. Our superintendent, Dr. Knight, and our assistant superintendent, Mrs. Rose, have come to us to let us know that they would not accept a salary increase in the 2011-12 budget. In addition, our Act 93 group, which includes our principals and other administrative staff, our central office administrators, and our confidential secretaries, who are employed and working primarily here in our administration office, have offered a pay freeze to us for the coming year. This will go far in helping to get to that $928,000, but certainly it doesn't do it all. We hope this gesture from our district leaders and our administrative staff will encourage other employees and bargaining units to make this same concession in order to preserve jobs. This board and administration will be deeply saddened by the loss of any program or employee. However, the drastic cuts proposed by the governor's office have left us with few options. Public education in Pennsylvania is now between a rock and a hard place. The state limits how much we can tax locally, and on top of that proposes drastic cuts in our state subsidies. To compound matters, the state is proposing to send our tax dollars through vouchers to private, parochial, and charter schools as well. Every aspect of our district's programming, whether it be academic, athletic, or extracurricular, benefits the student who participates. No matter the class, sport, or activity, they all provide something important to the students who are involved. We realize that every child has various needs and different goals in life, and that's why we strive to provide a strong academic core to prepare our students for their life goals. As I stated last week, our sleeves are rolled up, and we know we have much work to do before the 2011-12 general operating budget is ready to be passed. We thank you for understanding the unenviable position we are in. We will continue to work faithfully to deliver a physically acceptable budget and at the same time maintain a strong and well-rounded educational program for our students. But please understand, cuts will need to be made in order to balance the budget. At this time, if anyone wants to speak on any agenda items, they're welcome to come to the microphone. You have 2 minutes to speak.
Good evening. I'm Ann DeBordley, 3680 Ashland Drive. My comments tonight are directed toward item 5 on the Facilities and Services Committee. These are change orders at the high school. I don't quite know if all the things I'm going to mention are for the Little Theater because it's hard to pull things out of this list. I do recall when you okayed additional expenditures for the air conditioner because you were moving the control room closer to the classroom, and I think that figure was somewhat in the area of $68,000. But in looking at these figures, I see under the general contractor, $11,361, $2,934. Raise the roof screen, I'm not sure what that is, but it's almost $16,000. And then to Vrabel, there's $6,000, Scalise $35,000, Callista $31,000, Westmoreland Electric $8,500, and additional access $27,248. I must admit, I don't know what that is. I would like, when this motion is presented, if we could have a little more explanation, because it seems that the expenditures for the Little Theater have exceeded what was first presented to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on agenda items?
My name is Pamela Dobus, 5558 Beverly Court. I would like to comment about the part of the agenda regarding payment of salaries and bills. According to your operating budget, it seems to me that the total personnel costs for this year that were budgeted seem to be $51 million, $649. And your year-to-date costs are around $30,500,000. The current month, which I'm assuming would be March, is $4,200,000. With 3 months left, that would be another $12 million. So I'm just wondering about the $13 million that will be extra that won't be spent, considering the estimated costs.
Any other comments on agenda items? Seeing none, we'll move into business items. Personnel Committee and Mrs. Rule.
Okay, there are 14 items under personnel. Are there any that anyone would like to have held out? If not, I move the following items for approval. 1, approval of substitutes. 2, approval of extra duty responsibility program, acceptance of a resignation, approval to extend unpaid leave of absence, approval of unpaid leave of absence, approval of administration tuition reimbursement, approval to rescind the 2011 Summer Reading Academy program, approval of elementary summer data secretary, approval to rescind resignation, approval to extend internal auditor contract, approval of summer help for custodial maintenance, approval of 2011 extended school year program, 13, approval of leave of absence, and 14, appointment of personnel.
Second.
Items 1 through 14 under personnel have been moved by Mrs. Rule and seconded by Mr. Sustich. Any questions or comments on these items? I just had a question on the intramurals. Are these taking place now, these extra duty intramural? Or is that's on number 2, approval of extra duty responsibility. There's intramurals.
Those.
Yes, that is now. Thank you. Any other questions or comments on personnel? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 8-0. Facilities and services, and Mr. Sustich.
There are 5 items under facilities and services, but anybody like any items held out separately?
Please hold on number 2, please.
Number 2? Anybody else? Okay, so I'd like to move items. I'm going to move items 1, 3, 4, and 5. For approval, item 1 is the awarding of the automatic temperature control system. That is for the temperature control system for Memorial, Lincoln, and William Penn Elementary Schools for a total amount of $84,600. Item 3 is a approval of the easement of right-of-way agreement. This is an agreement between the school district and Columbia Gas for right-of-way, and this is related to the area in front of the new high school. Item number 4, the awarding of a guaranteed energy savings project. This is to approve the replacement of the chillers at Independence Middle School. They're doing a cost analysis. This is a guaranteed project with no final life cycle cost to the district. And item 5 is the approval of change orders for the high school project. I'm going to read these out, and then we'll discuss, where I can, the items that were in there. First one, change order to Mascaro Construction in the amount of $84,200. Second one is a change order separate to Northeast Interior Systems for $1,467. Change order to Vrabel Plumbing in the amount of $6,547. Change order to Scalise Industries in the amount of $35,050.58. Additionally, a change order to Callista Electric in the amount of $31,358.22. Change order to Westmoreland Electric in the amount of $40,446.43. And then a change order, and these are for Green Globe items for our Green Globe certification to Mascaro in the amount of $104,304.68. Again, a change order for Green Globe items to Vrabel Plumbing in the amount of $45,870. Green Globe items change order to Scalise Industries in the amount of $137,160. And finally, a change order for Green Globe items to Callista Electric in the amount of $135,909.
Second.
Items 1, 3, 4, and 5 under Facilities and Services have been moved by Mr. Sustage and seconded by Mr. Rose. Any questions or comments on these items?
I just want to make a couple clarifications where I can't. If an item did not say specifically small theater revisions, it's other parts of the building. For example, the question on the bulkhead to explain from, that's out. Oh, you asked, only if they said specifically small theater revisions did they apply. I think there was another one. Yeah, and then you had a question about, let me find the last, you said the, maybe I missed it here. Under Westmoreland, the question was, just the last item was small theater changes for 8,500. Okay, I thought you were asking about the one above it as well. That's a different area of the building.
Well, some of this is in addition to just moving that. We had to move the whole control room.
If you pull out specifically the change orders associated with that small theater, they are what the board agreed to. They are what the board agreed to.
So that they agreed to the air conditioning.
They agreed to all the change orders
All the changes that went
with small.
associated with the small theater.
So that was like 68.
It was actually 75, 76. Not according to my calculation. I'd be happy to show you after the meeting.
Any other?
Yeah,
I'm
just
sorry.
a comment on the since we have a lot of faces at the meeting this evening who maybe haven't been here for a while or maybe not at all. You've probably heard some big numbers about Green Gloves, and what is that? Green Gloves is a state certification program that not only increases the energy efficiency of the building and provides us with savings opportunities throughout the life of the building, but in fact, through various programs, we actually get a lot of that money back. So while I saw some eyes widening as we talked about some of those numbers throughout the audience, rest assured that those are dollars that are very well spent.
Actually, Mr. Pruach, not only do we get the money back, but it's almost a 2-for-1, where we get double the amount of money that we spend.
Any other questions or comments on items 1, 3, 4, and 5? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 8-0. Mr. Sustage.
I'd like to move item number 2, the awarding of the technology bid for the new high school. This is for the approval of the high school technology bid, total amount of $1,547,433.73.
I need a second first.
Second.
Thank you. Item 2 has been moved by Mr. Sustage and seconded by Mr. Rose. Mr. Puhat, you had a comment?
The question I have is the dollar amount contained in the recommended bids. Is that the entirety of the technology expenditure for the building, or are there additional things that may come after this?
Yes, there are additional things that have to come after this. And if you want to know what, I'll let Ron explain what else has to come yet.
The technology that is remaining is the classroom projectors, the interface to connect the classroom projectors to the network, the media distribution system that will allow us to provide content to those projectors, and also stream the local Comcast cable channels to the classroom through that system. Comcast went to a strictly digital system on April 12th, and so right now there's no facility in place to push that stuff out to the classrooms unless we put a media distribution system in place and incorporate that digital cable into the distribution system. So, and then the kiosk, which was the signage system that was going to be at the 9 locations at the new high school. So that's what remains.
All those things that Ron spoke about are within, should come within his budget that he was allotted.
I appreciate anticipating my next question. And then one final question, specifically on item B. The notes that we have here indicate that the bid exceeded our bid design specification. I just wanted to see if there was an opportunity to ask them to revert back, and if that would result in savings, or if otherwise the additional functionality is worthwhile for us. I just want to understand it a little bit better.
The difference in cost between the Axis and Pelco cameras is because the Axis camera is a better camera that has the capacity to be remotely focused.
I'm sorry.
I think you were talking item B.
Item B.
I'm sorry.
B.
Item B, the statement that exceeds the bid design specification.
When we bid that out, we bid out either an EMC or a NetApp SAN. So EMC was the design specification, but NetApp had the better cost proposal. They did so even exceeding the design specifications of EMC by quite a lot.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments on item 2? Do you still want me to hold them? Okay, so we're going to take them A, B, C, and D. Okay?
Sure.
So,
Is there one in particular?
C, please.
C?
C, please.
So I can move A. Okay, so I'm going to do all in favor of item 2, A, B, and D. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor of 2C. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Nay.
That's one
I didn't do that
opposition. So I have a 7-1 on 2C under Facilities and Services Committee. Finance Committee and Mr. Rose.
There are 11 items under the Finance Committee agenda tonight. Would anybody like any of those held out separately? Hearing none, I move the approval of the, Matt, would you get the board a report on the estimated salaries for the year so we can respond to Mrs. Dobis?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I move the following items. Number 1, April 2011 salaries and bills. Number 2, March 2011 financial report. Number 3, designating a primary contact for Pennsylvania School District Liquid Asset Fund. Number 4, awarding of refuse and recycle contract. Number 5, awarding a district-wide supply bid. Number 6, awarding of the bus bid. Number 7, approval of contract with Wesley Spectrum Services. Number 8, renewing the food service contract. Number 9, school sports media agreement. Number 10, approval of ProSoft maintenance contract. And number 11, approval of Presley Ridge contract.
Second.
Thank you. Items 1 through 11 under Finance have been moved by Mr. Rose and seconded by Mr. Sustage. Any questions or comments on any of these items?
Mrs. Cook,
Yes, Mr. Rose.
just for the record, we're approving a primary contact for the Pennsylvania School District Liquid Asset Fund. I serve on that board, but there is no conflict between this and that.
Thank you.
Mrs. Cook,
Yes.
item
Mr.
9.
Shebel.
I guess the question's best directed to Al. Al, what timeframe?
We
you looking
thought
at
we'd
this?
have it completed today, but I guess due to vacation, they said they would get back to us at the beginning of next week. We had sent them the changes, they were reviewing them, got an email today and said that whoever has the final say is on vacation. They'll get back to us beginning of the week.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to comment on number 9 as it relates to the overall, financial condition and strategy of the district. As we opened and talked about the many challenges that we're facing as a district and all districts are facing, one of the things that we will be required to do is to seek additional revenue streams and not just always look at things that can be cut. So we are looking for ways of financing the things that we do want to keep, and this is an example, maybe one of the first clear examples that you'll see where we're actually trying to bring in alternative revenue sources into the district to help protect some of the program that we do have. We retain the right to review individual advertisements that come in through this program, so we do retain control over what goes on in our district. But at the same time, we create opportunities to bring in revenue that can then go to help fund the things that we need to continue to fund. So I just want to make everybody aware of that.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those items carry 8-0. Mrs. Buckley, will you take other for me this evening?
Yes, there is only one item under other, and I move it as number 1, student agreements.
Second.
Item 1 under other has been moved by Mrs. Buckley and seconded by Mr. Rose. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item carries 8-0. We are now at the point of public comments on anything you wish to address the board. You have 2 minutes to speak. Give your name and address at the microphone, please. Thank you.
Gus Oakley, 329 Allendale. I do not like the mortar on the church side of the new building. I think they've used antifreeze. It's staining the brick. It's also a different color. If you people accept it, I think you're nuts. The next part. There's 2 policies I don't like. I don't like the nepotism policy, and I don't like the 3-point policy. But I don't think the board should go and suspend one of those policies, vote the way you want to vote, and then put it back on, you should get rid of it. The next thing is the baseball coach. I think if you want to find how you waste money taking the baseball coach to arbitration. You know what the record is for arbitrations, and it's not good. You have a coach now who doesn't allow swearing, doesn't allow chewing on the baseball field, but you go with what one board member has a vendetta and keep the man from coaching last year. It's not right. My next comment is I just want the people in this audience to know that you have had 6 strikes. You have a board member who's been involved with 5 of them. I've read both proposals for the final proposals, and all I can say is a pox on both of your houses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beverly Turner, 4802 Chris Road. I know that there's all the special interest people. They all have their agenda. There's the DECA, the German, the school bus, some of the other ones, the band. It has to be cut somewhere. We're bleeding. I mean, people that are paying these bills are bleeding. I mean, you take 3 prescriptions for somebody that has to pay out of pocket. Out of 12, this is only 3, $180 per month. And it keeps on going and going and going. So in my case and a lot of other people's cases, what do you decide? You're going to pay for your spouse's medication and so forth, or you're going to pay for higher taxes just because, hey, we don't want so-and-so laid off. That's, you know, a lot of people are laid off. I'm sorry. I'm not working, nor is my husband. We haven't gotten a raise. Many other people don't get raises. Will we get one next year? Who knows? Do we pay for hospitalization? Yes. Out of pocket? Yes, 100%. So please think about this also when you're putting the blame on, hey, we don't want to quit this, you can't do this, you can't do that. You got to do something. Something has to be done about it. And we are indebted for the next 25 years for this school, like it or not. And many of you people, excuse me, do not like it. But where were you when the vote was being cast? Where were you with all the meetings we begged and pleaded? People passed out flyers and everything else. Excuse me. And then when it's said and done, people said, oh, you mean they are building a school? I mean, that's, you know, they weren't interested until it was too late. So let's not do that again. You know, wait and do the wrong thing, and then when it's too late, throw up your arms and say, poor me, what are we going to do now? But you just have to think. What can you do? What will you do? And sorry, folks, everybody can't be pleased. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jared Single. I live at 167 Spartan Drive. A few weeks ago, I heard that the board was considering cutting Latin and German from the foreign languages offered at Bethel Park High School. I was alarmed and appalled whenever I heard this, and so I'd like to first discuss the benefits of Latin. I am a proud Latin student, and I'm a member of the National Junior Classical League, which is Bethel Park High School's honor society for Latin. In an article by Dr. Barrett, a PhD from California State University, she talks about the immense SAT-related benefits of the Latin language. The average SAT scores of all Latin students who take the SAT is 666. The average of all students is 504, and the average of Spanish students is 581, while French students is 637. As you can see, Latin clearly outweighs all of these. In addition to this, her article discusses several other benefits of the language, including an increased knowledge of English vocabulary, a more simplistic method to study other Romance languages that are related, and even a deeper understanding of the cultures of others and greater tolerance for those. My second argument is that it is somewhat illogical to cut this language along with German because everyone who would be affected would end up taking another language anyway, seeing as most colleges require languages or look upon them very favorably for graduation. So since we would be merging into other languages, Spanish and French, we would still need the same number of teachers, so there's really no net benefit to doing this. Also, we could easily make classes larger without cutting these two languages, especially considering the fact that these two languages are the only two languages that only require one teacher in each department to facilitate. Finally, I don't feel that it would be fair of me to suggest that we don't cut Latin or German without making other suggestions of what to cut instead. First of all, we have 4 high school principals, and we are moving into one building next year. Also, we have numerous English electives, as well as numerous home economics classes. Finally, there is a very, very large budget allocated for sports. So in conclusion, German is the language of trade, business, and entrepreneurship, while Latin is the language of law and medicine. Why would we ever want to cut any of these drastically important programs? Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to address the board?
Kim Dushek, 147 Meadowbrook Drive. I would like to speak today on behalf of the Bethel Park German program. I strongly urge the school board to reconsider eliminating the academic German program in the Bethel Park School District. I personally took German at Bethel Park High School for 4 years with Christopher Tobias as my teacher. This experience offered me many opportunities in high school, including travel to Germany, to use the language and explore the culture, the opportunity to test on national exams, join a National German Honor Society, study German at a summer camp at Millersville University, and compete in regional language competitions. These opportunities and the innumerable successes of Mr. Tobias' students set German apart from all the other languages offered here at Bethel Park. I personally saw friends who took German use it for business, higher education, studying abroad, teaching, and pleasure. And those who did not end up using German in a practical way outside of the classroom were positively affected by the course in general, learning an important appreciation for foreign languages and cultures in general. I myself have been teaching German for 5 years in the North Allegheny School District and see students benefiting from German every day. Not only do my students learn German and an appreciation for the culture, but many of my students also tell me that I help them learn English through the intricacies of German grammar, which is something to consider with standardized testing, measuring district success and impacting government funding. While Spanish, oftentimes the more popular language, benefits our students because of our close borders with Mexico and bridging cultural gaps with Spanish-speaking Americans, German provides other opportunities to our students that Spanish does not. As evident by our country's adoption of the National Defense Education Act, our country recognizes the importance of America's youth to become more competitive globally. By continuing to provide our students of the district with the opportunity to study German, the third most popular foreign language taught worldwide, and second most popular in Europe and Japan, it would help us as Americans in this initiative to remain globally competitive. Germany, as the world's #1 exporter and third strongest economy in the world, offers businesses opportunities to our district students that other languages do not.
Could you wrap up, please?
Sorry?
Could you please wrap up? We have
Okay,
a 2-minute limit.
With the wealth of opportunities available to students who study German, it seems absurd to eliminate such a program from Bethel Park's course offerings, especially with this particular program's successes on AP exams in national and regional competitions. Okay? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christianis. I live at 5891 Bryan Drive, and I spoke to you last time, but that didn't go so well, so I'm going to try this one more time. Have you ever heard of the term Volksgeist? Yes? No? Probably not. Well, it basically means that when people come together in common interests with common beliefs who strive for a goal, naturally group themselves together. Well, that's what we're doing here right now, as you can see from all the red shirts in the audience from the Germans, and also the Latin students that will probably be speaking to you, especially Jared. And our shirts on the back, if you haven't seen it, say "For mich, for dich, for alle," which means for me, for you, for all. That means all of us, not just the German students, but the Latin too. We're banding together in a brotherhood. We're here to stand up, not for ourselves, but for our teacher, our program, and anyone who, in the future years, wishes to take German or Latin. Because let's face it, there's a reason that we're not in Spanish or French. And that's because we're all top students who want to expand their knowledge and challenge themselves in environments of students who have the same motivation. A classroom is not just your teacher. If you take away the program that attracts all the top students, we will be separated and will no longer be able to push each other forward. Also, as previously stated, I want to be in a profession where I can immerse myself in a language, culture, and people that I love. Actually, You probably saw it up there. I came in first place in a German competition for art. This is what I drew. The only prompt they gave you was to draw or create something that embodied German. And I won out of everyone that submitted. And probably the proudest moment of my life, just saying. I know we're not all top students. There are some who do struggle but remain in the German program. And that's because of our teacher. They have a great teacher who can make a C feel like a Congressional Medal of Honor and an A- feel like a slap in the face, as if your own paper is telling you, how dare you give me anything less than your very best. He makes us work harder than we ever thought we could. He makes our parents see us for who we are and who we can be. He makes us question, he makes us wonder, he makes us criticize, and he makes us apologize and mean it. He makes us write, and he makes us read. He makes us say, schon, schön, schon, schön, schon, schön, over and over again, until we will never mix up the words already and beautiful again. He makes us understand that if you got this and you followed this, if anyone tries to judge you for who you are or what you do, you stand up and you fight for it. So let me plainly state this so you know what I'm saying is true. German's changed me. What about you?
My name is Peter Conkey. I'm really here for my daughter, Erica Conkey Kane, who graduated in '89, and here are her words. The German program at Bethel Park High School was instrumental in my success as a businesswoman and continues to benefit my family in many ways. I graduated from Bethel Park High School in '89, having taken 4 years of German. The instruction quality was so high that I was able to excel in the subject at the University of Michigan and graduated with honors with a degree in Germanic languages and literature. In addition, my German was so advanced due to my instruction at Bethel Park that I was able to study for a year during my college years at the University of Munich. When I started my own public relations agency, my knowledge of German and German culture was essential for my success. It put me far ahead of my competitors in the public relations field, and I was the only agency owner who was able to attend and reap business from the Leipzig Games Convention, essential to my success. I subsequently opened a Munich office for my company, then called Conkey Communications, and offered public relations services throughout Europe from that location. My husband and I have sold the Munich office at a profit in '08 and have become renowned for our ability to provide public relations services throughout the United States and Europe. I'm currently on a hiatus from the agency as I'm raising my 3 young daughters. Thanks to the German education I received at Bethel Park, I am now able to homeschool them in German and to send them to German school in Oakland. I appreciate your reading my letter and my heartfelt gratitude for Bethel Park teaching my German, so essential for my success and my family's bilingual abilities. Please continue the program for future students to enjoy the leg up on European business from which I benefited so much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jessica Smith, 6122 Kings School Road. I'm here for the conversation about the cutting of the funding of the German program. I think that it's really important to have foreign language education of all languages in high schools, or as many as possible. And while I do understand that it's necessary to make changes in the budget, I feel that German language education is a very important option for high school students, especially in the Pittsburgh area. It is the largest and most populous country in the European Union, and there are around 100 million native speakers of German. It's also the largest economic presence in the EU and the 4th largest in the world. Learning the German language can be advantageous and sometimes crucial in gaining a competitive advantage in today's business world. Germany is the largest foreign investor in Western Pennsylvania, with over 70 German-based companies operating in our region. If you include Austrian and Swiss companies, that number jumps to over 100. There are also several large companies such as Bayer and Lanxess that have chosen the Pittsburgh region as their American headquarters, and they employ thousands of people in the area. I'm a 2005 graduate of Bethel Park Senior High School, and Mr. Tobias and the German program changed my life. I feel lucky to have had a teacher and a mentor like Mr. Tobias, and he's continued to influence me and my education throughout the collegiate level to this very day. I'm a recent graduate of Washington and Jefferson College with a dual degree in international business and German, and without the motivation from Mr. Tobias and the hard work that he expected from me, I have no idea where I would be today. The Bethel Park German program is widely known to be one of the best in Western Pennsylvania. Due to the rigor and intensity of the program, I was more than prepared for college German, and I excelled with a 3.8 in my major. I had the opportunity to live in Germany for 4 months, and also this past January I returned for an intercession class as well, and I'm currently seeking opportunities with one of the many German companies in Pittsburgh with hopes to do expatriate work there in the future. My passion for the German language and culture runs deep, and it was the Bethel Park German program that ignited the flame and put me on a path to a successful career in international business. I want to thank you for the opportunities that Bethel Park has given me, and I want to thank you for the German program. Because of you, I have a great education, a rewarding and fulfilling international career ahead of me, and the opportunity to see the world in other cultures. I just hope that in the future, other children will experience the value of the Bethel Park German program, and I hope it changes their lives like it did mine. Thank you for your time. I also want to say, I started the Bethel Park German program. My first 9 weeks, I had a D. By the time I graduated, I was in the German National Honor Society, so that's a pretty good success story. And that's the teaching.
Liz Spence, 812 Boulder Drive. I take German 3 honors at Bethel Park High School and would just like to express my feelings towards the idea of German being cut. I understand that German doesn't have a lot of students taking it, and the reason for that is this. I can honestly say, having this happen to me in 8th grade, we are given a sheet of paper and said, here, plan your freshman year of high school. So I fill out all of my core classes and, of course, put down for my foreign language German 2 honors. And so all your friends, of course, want to see the classes you are taking, and you show them right away. The first thing they say is, oh, you're taking German. That is such a big mistake. It's too hard. Herr Tobias is way too tough. I mean, what kid is going to want to take a language when they hear that? The people who take this language are the people who take it seriously and want to rise to that challenge. The people who enjoy the language and actually learn from it. Because of this, because German gets harder, you can't just drop things like high school gives you the option to. And yes, German is hard, but I've learned so much the past 2 years from Herr Tobias and have grown to really like him as a teacher and his amazing teaching strategies. I'm not saying I like him all the time because, trust me, doing an hour to an hour and a half of corrections or translations isn't the most fun thing to be doing. But at the end of the day, I can look back and say, you know what, I really learned something. And by cutting this language, you're taking it away from a student who wants to take on the challenge because he or she genuinely enjoys the language and the culture. We might be small, but Albert Einstein once said, academic chairs are many, but wise and noble teachers are few. Lecture rooms are numerous and large, but the number of young people who genuinely thirst after truth and justice is small. I believe this directly correlates to German because we are so lucky to have an amazing teacher who teaches us so well and are able to graduate and have learned to speak, write, and comprehend true German. Thank you.
I'm Hannah Leibel. I live at 108 Horning Road, and I am in German 3 honors. I just would like to say that I don't think it's right to cut something as important as Latin and German. You take these classes in the hopes that you will learn something in English and you will learn something about who you are and what you want to be. I know that for me, my English grade went up as I took German and I saw the structure of our language through the German language. And I also know that for different careers, German and Latin are very essential for doctors and lawyers. In all the medical and science fields, German and Latin are the 2 most used languages that they have. And I know that that sign there says where futures begin. And taking this away could possibly jeopardize somebody's future of wanting to be a doctor or wanting to be a lawyer because These languages start that. So I know for me and my little sister, she never wanted to be anything in her life except a mom. But now she's looking forward to taking German next year in the hopes that maybe she will learn something. Maybe she will want to be the teacher that she thinks she might want to be. And so I really hope you take into consideration the futures that are looking forward to and aspiring to be something through these languages. Thank you.
Leslie Holmes, 3211 Greenwald Road. I understand the difficult position that you have been put in by our governor, but I too feel very strongly that the German program is not one that should be eliminated. My daughter studied German for 5 years. Her studies not only helped her learn that language, but as mentioned, also helped her better understand the English language. She has always felt that she learned more about English grammar in her German classes, perhaps because English is a Germanic language. For her, understanding German grammar correlated to a better understanding of English grammar. Consequently, her PSSA and verbal and writing SAT scores improved dramatically as she progressed through the German curriculum. She continued to use her German language abilities after high school. For one quick example, her degree is in pharmacy, and throughout pharmacy school, she encountered many articles in medical journals that were only written in German. Because she was able to read and understand them, she could incorporate the information into her clinical practice, something many of her pharmacy school classmates were unable to do. I also want to talk about the teaching abilities of Herr Tobias. There is no one like him, as his students can attest to. He is passionate, unbelievably dedicated, and the kind of teacher you want in Bethel Park. He has produced students who consistently score at the top levels of language competitions. My daughter was awarded the opportunity to study in Germany due to the scores that she received on the National German Examination, thanks to Herr Tobias's training. This was truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience and was only possible because of his high standards, expectations, and extensive knowledge of the subject that he teaches. Again, I understand your dilemma, but I also ask that you keep in mind Herr Tobias' strong reputation and the reputation of the German program that he has created, as well as the many accolades that Bethel Park has received as a result of his work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cole Comstock, 616 Rolling Green Drive. I drove all the way in from IUP today to just give you my 365 words. I am currently an English student, and I studied international business and German there too, until I also had to fight with them to keep the German program up there as well. Wenn wir nicht etwas verstehen, aber etwas uns versteht. When we don't understand something, but something understands us. That something is the essence of a thought, which can only be shared through language and articulation. Language expresses thought, which is interpreted by the reader and or listener. If people are speaking different languages, they use interpreters, then interpret the meaning of the message. Yet, even when people are speaking the same language, thoughts still need to be conveyed and interpreted. But here's a key word: misinterpretation. This happens on a daily basis, and it's happening here as we speak. See, können Sie mich verstehen? Are you able to understand me? Ich verstehe Sie. I understand you. This something that is being misinterpreted is a debt, the concept of debt. A true debt is the debt English owes to German, since English was born of Germanic descent. Without such ancestry, English would have no tense, no case, no gender, no punctuation, no predicate, subject, or object. German paved the way for English. It was a parent tongue which paved the way for its next of kin. It's a debt that cannot be repaid, but it can be honored. I understand this debt because I once studied German as I currently study English. I once wrote in German as I currently write in English. Indeed, I argued in German as I currently argue in English, and today, German as well. Through my study in this program all those years ago, I gained a command of English of which I never dreamt. The two languages are more inseparable than most of us believe them to be. I know this. And I would say German has to be taught if English is to be taught as well, the reason being that we are, on some level, speaking German. Lastly, you might say that Spanish is all over our streets and French is right up the border, yet Deutsche Börse, a German company, just merged with the New York Stock Exchange in a $10 billion deal. On one of the most important streets in America, a German company has a major influence. Können Sie mich verstehen? Ich verstehe Sie.
Logan 2 at 1000 Christine Place. Je schneller, desto besser. Falsch. Schneller ist nicht immer besser. What does that mean? It means that the faster the better, and really it's not true. I'm not saying that the board is making any rash decisions or just looking anywhere to cut, because I understand that you're in a tough position here and you need to look at what needs to be cut. But we have a tradition at Bethel Park, and German, foreign language, is our tradition. I'm in German, and I absolutely love it. But the Latin students too. This honestly hurts us. I mean, we take these languages because we care. This is what we do, and we do it well. We're small, but as you saw on the website, I have it here that Megan Crawford, Jeannie Kaiser, Patrick Sherrill, Trevor Walter, Henry Pacher, Nick Poe, and Justin Fleischman were among the top 20 scorers in the Western Pennsylvania on the AATG, American Association of Teachers of German, 11-4 National German exam. To take those spots, we try. We do our best here. We are the best. I mean, we have an amazing instructor, Herr Tobias, but it's not just him. It's what was set forth from when German began here. Our program, our teachers, the students in it, we try. We do the best we can. I'm in period 9 German. I'm German too. And I come to school every day, no matter how bad it starts out or if anything goes wrong. I can always look forward to 9th period German just because it's amazing. I mean, we learn. Even if it's a test day, I can stand there and say, oh, got a Herr Tobias test. It's time for action. We do our best every day that we go there. And well, Herr Tobias, he's not just a teacher to us, but he's a mentor. If you've ever been in Building 1, there's the quote that says that knowledge is not filling someone's head with facts, but inspiring their mind. And that's really what happens here. He inspires us to do our best. I mean, I know whenever I mess up in class, I feel so awful that I'll go home and my mom will say, "Oh, how was your day?" I said, "Nope, got to study. I have to study." Actually on our shirts, für mich, für dich, für alle. I said "für" in class one time, just like "für" or "nicht nur" instead of "nicht nur." And he called me out on it. He said, "nicht nur" or "für mich." And I went home and I could not look at myself. I opened my book. I wrote down, everything I could. I couldn't stand to see, be in that classroom and say, I'm doing this incorrectly. I'm doing this wrong, because we do everything that we can. I was in the Culture Bowl this year. As I said, I'm a freshman, but I also wrote a story for the W&J competition, completely in German, no translator. And the only thing I used was if I had to look up a word that I didn't know, I used a dictionary. But how many places could you go around and talk to the freshmen or the German 2 students and say, write me a story right now completely in German. You don't get a translator, you don't get a teacher, you don't get an upperclassman. And it's not just me. It's really all my classmates. I know multiple people. Amanda Ruschel there, she was also in the Culture Bowl with me, and everybody there, we swept the competition. We were 62.5% there. There were 8 people, and we were 5 of them. And we went through round after round waiting to get the Bethel Park kids out while the other schools were gone in the first round. You know, they didn't know. Because we are Bethel Park German, we do everything that we can, and we are the best. You know, we have the students that push each other, and we have the teacher that pushes us. And
Logan, if you could wrap up, please.
Yes, absolutely. But I just want to tell you that, you know, I mean, obviously there have to be cuts made. And you know, I was here last week for the music department. I also play the violin. But, you know, you don't necessarily have to make cuts, but downscale or think about what you do before you buy, you know, or you know, in the new school. Or I was recently in the Mac lab today, and I realized, well, you know, why do we need these things? I wanted to buy a computer, but, you know, $700, no way. So I went and built mine, $250. Yeah, done. I just want to ask you to look where any downscaling, not cutting, because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, nor do I want to cut it really, because we kind of need those. But just look where things could be downscaled in sports. I mean, I don't play sports. I stay behind the lines. I'm in stage crew. I don't even talking here is hard, but just look where you can. And wir sind Deutsch and wir kämpfen Deutsch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tom Dewar, 2722 Tischler Road. Unlike my previous speakers, I don't really have many fancy quotes or big vocabulary. I'm also not an A student. It is my second time taking German 2. I did not fare so well the first time. But administrators, I know when you look at this crowd of red, you just see a bunch of German students, but to me, I see a bit of my extended family. German is a class that I took again because I truly want to learn the language, and because all of my really good friends are in German, and that's no coincidence. German becomes a part of you whenever you take it. It truly takes over a part of your life. And I mean, whenever I started taking German, I really didn't think I was going to make it, and I certainly didn't think I'd take it over again if I bombed it. But it's just such a fantastic program, and I know you've been you've been getting compliments all night. So I'll try to keep this down. So I know, because we're administrators, you're probably getting a little bit tired here from hearing about German. But I've got to say, this German program is just more than a program. It becomes part of you. My sister took it. I took it because my sister really changed as a student after she took German. I mean, it helps your entire school career after you take German, and that's no coincidence. Herr Tobias is a fantastic teacher. His program, the German program in Bethel Park, is fantastic. I mean, you can see both all the awards we won. I mean, I don't see many Spanish awards up there, but I do see a lot of German and Latins. So just please think about what you're doing before you cut German. It is the best, if it is one of the best, if not the best program at Bethel Park High School. So just please think about it before you cut it. Thank you.
My name is Dan Telek, live at 3065 Algae Drive, and I'm in the same boat as Tom. I'm not your typical A student. I never really even cared about school before I started taking German. But the first week of German, I had like a 50% my freshman year. And I thought about just dropping it, but Herr Tobias inspired me to be the student I am today. You know, other people talk about how German's your family. It's absolutely true. Like, everybody just, it's like a, I don't know, think of something that goes together in mass and that goes together, but don't care, okay. But, oh my God, I had all this stuff planned to say, and now you can't cut German. Stop laughing at me. Oh my God, it's hard. I want to see if we do it. Okay. But like people said, we're one of the best programs in the high school. The test scores show it, the German Bowl scores show it, everything shows it. Like, you cannot find a better teacher at Bethel Park than Herr Tobias. He finds the best in you. He doesn't care if you're the worst student ever, the best student ever. He doesn't care if you're a student. He'll teach you something. And I just, like, I don't want to strive for mediocrity. I go to German to get challenged. Because when you're not challenged, you shouldn't even bother showing up. And I thank Herr Tobias every day for making me the person I am. I've become such a different person because of this class. And I'm going to stop rambling because I've repeated myself 5 times. But just, please don't cut German. These way better speakers than I am probably proved a better point. But, okay, thank you. Don't cut Latin either. I thought of something else. Okay. English is a subgenre, or like something involves German and Latin making English together. But you don't see, like, I don't care.
I'm Matt McKowiak. I live at 1283 Bethel Green Drive. I remember when I was in 8th grade and all of my friends were going around with their high school schedules. They're like, oh, Spanish 1. Oh, yeah, we're going to be in the same class. What are you taking? And I was like, German 2. And they're like, do you have a death wish? And honestly, I wanted to take German. I had been taking German in 7th and 8th grade, and I really enjoyed the language. And I was up for a challenge. I heard that Herr Tobias was the most grueling, toughest son of a gun on the face of the earth, literally. And I went into German thinking that, and I was so intimidated, actually. The first day I was scared to death. But after a while, I realized that he is probably the best teacher that I've ever had. He's taught us all so much. It's either his way or the highway, really. I mean, don't even think about doing your homework in homeroom for that class. But he's taught us so much, and he's just so inspiring with the way he helps us to work, and he gives us good work ethic. He's told us numerous times that if you want to learn a language, there's no easy way. It's going to be difficult. It's a hard thing to do. But it's fun, and in the end, it's worth it because he's a really great teacher, and it's honestly one of my favorite classes. As shown before, we had a lot of people get awards in the German Day competition. I have to say that Bethel Park got 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the Culture Bowl. And the other schools, they didn't want to compete with us because they were scared to death. Because we had won it like 9 years in a row. It had been Bethel Park. And there were only 8 people that went out for the Culture Bowl. 5 of them were Bethel kids. And they were scared to death. They were intimidated because they knew that we were going to win. Because of what he does for our program. It's all because of him. I mean, we have vocab lists that we have to memorize in a week and take tests on, and then it's pretty tough for the faint of heart. But you know, the few, the proud, the German students, and I've just been so inspired with this program. For mich, für dich, für alle. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chelsea Nelson, and I'm president of the Bethel Park National Junior Classical League, which is a club in which members come together before school in order to discuss future class activities and the promotion of the study of Latin. On behalf of the Latin students in the Bethel Park School District, I would like to address concerns and consequences regarding the elimination of this foreign language course. Foremost, SATs are a crucial part of the high school student's future success. As you may know, there's an entire section of the SATs devoted to high-level vocabulary. 3/4 of these words have roots and origins that can be traced back to the Latin language. It is crucial to future SAT scores to maintain a proper study of the Latin language in order to aid students in their search for superior vocabulary skills. In addition, learning Latin can be beneficial in various areas of study, including English and other foreign languages. To demonstrate these benefits, Latin includes literary figures such as anaphoras, similes, alliterations, metaphors, and other numerous devices, which improve our understanding in English classes. Most importantly, Latin is crucial to the study of medicine, law, and English. By offering Latin in high school, students are granted the opportunity to get a step ahead in studies for college. I plan to study medicine in college, and I'm sure that other students wish to also pursue this area of study. Without this program, younger students who wish to study these areas in the future will be deprived of an enhanced experience for college in later years. With all the benefits of studying language in general, most students believe it would be in the best interest of future generations to continue both German and Latin programs in the Bethel Park High School District. Both Latin and German are not just another class in the high school. They provide an opportunity to make friends and yet study to achieve excellence. Through all my years of Latin, I've been Latin for 5 years, and I've made some of the best friends I ever had, including Angela, who's my best friend, 5 years. I met her on my first day of Latin, and it wouldn't be the same without any people that I know in Latin. And I really love the language, and I would not like to see it cut. And I made a shirt, support it, and I like it. It says, "I love Latin. Do you?" Well, do you? And I wouldn't like to see this language cut, and I don't think neither do you. So, thank you.
My name is Erin Hydock. I live at 34 Pontiac Road. I spoke up here the last time for DECA and Latin, but this time it will be only for Latin. Through my whole high school career, I was literally pummeled by my teachers about test scores. You have to do well on the PSSAs, you have to do well on the SATs, or you won't get into college. Well, if you cut Latin, how do you expect me to do well on the PSSAs and the SATs? Latin students have been projected to have over 100 more points on the verbal portion of the SAT than Spanish students. And there was actually a study shown, I don't remember who exactly it's from, but there were poor students in Philadelphia who were given 15 to 30 minutes of Latin each day to study, and they actually were a full year ahead of their students and of their fellow students in English. And the last time I came up here, I said that I want to be a corporate lawyer. I will most likely be attending Boston University in the fall of 2012, where I will study marketing and pre-law. BU offers full tuition to Latin students as a scholarship for Latin, as a full scholarship for Latin students. BU costs $51,000 a year, and that tuition cost is rising. I will not be able to pay for Boston University without this Latin scholarship. And my little brother wants to go to Boston University as well, and he also wants to study Latin. How are we going to pay for college without Latin? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Angela Mattiello. I live at 6830 Kevin Drive. I am a member of the Bethel Park National Junior Classical League. I would like to share a letter from a 2010 graduate and a fellow Latin student. It reads as following. To the Bethel Park Board of School Directors. Hello, my name is Robert Colopy, and I graduated as a part of the class of 2010. I am currently pursuing a prospective double major in biomedical engineering and Chinese at Duke University. I am proud to say that Bethel Park High School provided me with a firm understanding in all the areas I wish to study. However, for the past few years, I have been receiving the disturbing news that Bethel Park plans to remove the Latin program from its curriculum. This is particularly troubling to me since I asseverate that Latin was a source of great success to me in high school. I studied Latin from 7th grade until my junior year, and it was very rewarding. It was particularly rewarding because I could see Latin in everything I studied. An example just now, studeo, studere, to apply oneself, strive after, or devote oneself to. Studying Latin is a means of understanding most of the English language. It allows its user access to the roots of many, many words and enriches his or her English with this supplementary knowledge. I can vouch for this. My vocabulary was quite deficient in middle school, but now I feel comfortable reading very complicated texts of both literary and scientific contexts. I am thoroughly sorry if I failed to express just how valuable my Latin experience was to me, but I attempted to emphasize that it was a choice of which I am extremely proud. I associate Bethel Park High School with the choices I have made as an adolescent, and I believe they were reputable choices. I hope that you, as a school board, will consider my plea in the choice you will eventually make, and I thank you for your time. Respice, adspice, prospice, which means look back with respect, pay attention, and look forth with wisdom. Thank you.
I'd also like to add that I do live here, 2609 Bethel Church Road. I kind of forgot.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joey Tweel. I live at 438 Galway Drive, and I'm in Miss Conrad's Latin. And I probably have a D or an F in that class, and that's just due to myself. I'm bad at the language. I'm absolutely horrible. I put the word horse in every single sentence I can because that's the only word I know. And I continuously take this class, though, even though I'm getting a bad grade, for the history to it. And I think that's one thing that no one's discussed, is that both the German classes and the Latin classes get into detail of the history of both the cultures, which affect America as itself, because most of the American government is based off of some of the Roman governments, and that by learning how the Romans developed their society and their culture, we can learn better of how America can develop its own culture. And so we need to focus more onto that and how we can improve American history. So we can also improve our English classes too, because I've looked through paragraphs that Ms. Conrad has given us, and there's words in there I just recognize as English words, and that if I take off one little letter, it'll be something else. But most of the time I still fail because I don't know what I'm saying. But one thing I did want to say was Ms. Conrad is a fabulous teacher, and she's helped me out so many times and given me so much effort and just so much support, and yet I'm still doing bad, but she still puts up an effort to try and help me. And she actually spent one day, she came and she stayed after class just so she can tutor me and trying to figure out what the genitive and the dative and the acculate, I don't even know. Still trying to learn that. But she's put up so much effort for it, and I'm also going on the Latin trip, the Latin Italy trip that the school is, I guess, involved in. They're not sponsoring, but they're involved in, and the only reason I would have that opportunity to go to Italy is because of Ms. Conrad, and I think it's just a shame that you're trying to cut the Latin and the German when they've given so many opportunities to so many students. Thank you.
I'm Vinny Tavaletti from 1140 Highfield Court, and I would like to read a letter that I received from my cousin and godfather, Chris. It reads, "My godson, Vinny Tavaletti, has asked me to address the proposal to eliminate Latin from the curriculum at Bethel Park Public Schools. This proposal is gravely misguided and should be rejected. A Latin curriculum is the single best tool at a student's proposal for increasing his or her SAT score. According to data compiled by the College Board in 2009, students who take Latin have an overwhelming advantage on the reading and writing portions of the SAT. Eliminating the Latin curriculum will force the gifted students to work that much harder to gain admission at very competitive schools. It may also be the difference in whether or not some Bethel Park students will receive an academic scholarship, often a necessity for middle-class families seeking a better life for their children. Moreover, while Classical Latin is no longer spoken, it is still of great practical use. Much of English vocabulary is derived from Latin. Many classic rules of English grammar come from Latin, and learning to appropriate styles of great writers in a second classical language made it easier for me to find a voice in the first. The Latin curriculum at Bethel Park made me a better undergraduate at UVA and made me a better law student, and it continues to influence me as a practicing attorney in Washington, D.C., office of K&L Gates. A cursory review of high school curricula indicates that other schools in the area see the folly in eliminating Latin. Mount Lebanon's course offering for next year's list 4 years of Latin. Upper St. Clair offers the same. North Allegheny offers 5 years of Latin, including a certified AP course. These schools were, at the time I graduated from Bethel, our peers in the region. Without Latin, they would be our superiors, and students like Vinny will compare unfavorably to students from those schools when considered by college admissions deans. And that's why I am writing this letter, not to persuade you that Latin should be retained because it has helped me become more successful, and not to convince you that Latin should be retained because it is beautiful, which it most certainly is. Rather, I would simply ask you to look at my godson, who is a brilliantly gifted and hardworking young man, and tell him why you believe it isn't necessary to eliminate his future. Latin will assist Vinny, who wants to study engineering, in raising his SAT reading and writing scores to match his already impressive talents in mathematics, who go on to an elite engineering program and use Latin and other skills to excel there. And then, because he's taken Latin, he'll be able to effectively communicate his work to superiors and clients in the real world, solving some difficult 21st century problems and making society better. That, without exaggeration, is his potential. It is the potential of so many of his classmates, and because of certain officials in Harrisburg placed the mythical idea of a small government above the futures of our children, you have been forced to consider slashing that potential with the stroke of a pen. This is wrong. Every household, every family, every town, and every government at times must make choices about what it can afford. There is never a better time than the right now for cutting waste, but choosing not to send Susie to the dentist for a checkup will force you to pay for surgery to fix her cavity later. Choosing not to fill a pothole in 2009 might force you to pay to have the road fully resurfaced in 2012. And being too cheap to make sure that our middle-class kids can get into good colleges will force you to pay as families leave for better school districts, property values plummet, and otherwise bright minds wither in the shadow of a high school curriculum that is not worthy of the name. I implore you, do not limit the potential of these intelligent, hard-working kids. Make it easier, not harder, for them to be accepted at the best schools that will have them. As school board members, it is your job. As members of the community, it is your responsibility. Retain the Latin curriculum. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Trevor Walter, 5920 Daleview Drive. And, I mean, there are a bunch of reasons that German is really, really, really important. And, I mean, one of the first ones is just sheerly numbers. I mean, you look at this year alone, we have 2 prospective valedictorians in our class. We have, well, the junior year and the senior year, not 2 valedictorians from the same class. And we have 4 of the top 10 on the national German exam in the region. There is no national Spanish exam, so there's no comparison there. It's just like, sorry. And it gives you like a drive, I think, to be part of something that's so elite in this region. I mean, we're well known. As Hare said at the National German Day at Washington and Jefferson, there used to be 50, 60 kids in the Culture Bowl, and we've been on a streak where for 10 years we've won the Culture Bowl, and we've whittled those competitors down to 3, which is probably because they're afraid of us, because we're well known for being good at the culture and everything, and just the whole program gives you that drive to become one of those people that everyone says, oh, he takes German, he must be one of the smartest kids in the class, he must be smart. I'm horrible at this, I'm sorry. And I mean, Herr Tobias is one of the best teachers I've ever had, possibly the best teacher I've ever had, and he's taught me easily the most of German and any other subject besides math. He constantly professes he is not a math teacher. I'm sorry. And then, yeah, I'm really bad at this. I'm sorry. And yeah, please don't cut German.
Hello, my name is Justin Fleischman. I live at 1142 Woodlawn Avenue. I would like to start off by saying that I'm in AP German 5. I've taken German for 6 years, and it's really shot me to the top of my class and helped me to excel at whatever I've done. It's been one of the most challenging classes I've taken, and it's really helped me in all the other classes I have taken throughout high school. When I first took the SAT, I did it as part of a gifted program back in 8th grade, and until the most recent time I took it, partially because of German, I believe mostly, my scores on the writing and verbal combined have raised by almost 500 points. And I find that really amazing based on what German has taught me just about the English language. I find myself learning about things in German that I never even knew existed in English. I would have had no idea what the subjunctive case is in English without German. There's so many things that I just learn on a daily basis. I feel like this can also apply to many other people. I feel like they've gone through the same things I have. You've seen the accolades that Bethel Park has received. Their German program just far outweighs everywhere else. And that leads me to another very impressive statistic that I found out from Herr Tobias himself, is that there are 4 other German teachers in the area that actually studied at Bethel Park High School for German. And I find that amazing because in that way, if we're taking away the Bethel Park German program, we're almost taking away the German program of other places. And I think that's just awful. We can't take something away from ourselves that impacts others. And there's so many other things that are more worthy to cut than something that receives this many awards, this many accolades. And I just find that Bethel Park German has taught me so much and has taught others so much. Thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Billy Rusha. I live at 1175 Clifton Road, and I'd like to read a letter from a former Bethel Park student, Matthew Germanaro. He says, as an alumni of Bethel Park High School, class of 2001, I find the possible elimination of the German language program deeply concerning. My high school curriculum included 4 years of German. The benefits of foreign language study are well known and include academic process and other subjects, as well as enhanced higher-order abstract and creative thinking. I do not speak German working as a physician in Denver, Colorado, but the skills I have developed as a result of studying German prove paramount in helping me achieve my academic career goals. Furthermore, my high school German teacher, Mr. Tobias, is easily one of the most influential mentors I have encountered during my entire academic career. He is a true asset to the Bethel Park community, and it would be shameful to deny the students the opportunity to learn from him. I'd just like to say that German is definitely one of the best classes I've ever chosen to take. I've learned so much from it, just as Matthew had, and I feel that cutting it would just be a terrible thing to do, and would be a massive loss to the curriculum at Bethel Park. And I'd just like to urge you to consider other things to be downsized or reduced a little bit before you look at something to just take it away, because it's not something that's a massive cost to the district, and it provides such a great wealth of knowledge for kids and a wealth of opportunities that kids can just learn from, and it's just a great class to have. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alexander Curtis. I live at 4362 Overhill Street, and actually I'm in all 3 programs that are proposed to be cut. I was in Latin 7th and 8th grade, absolutely loved it. However, I changed to German in high school because my family with German heritage, and I wish to get more interested in it. But all three of these programs have one thing in common, and that is that they strive for excellence. They accept nothing more. We have kids going to all states for music. We have kids that are scoring top 10 for national German exam. We have kids getting a scholarship for Latin. And it's just be a shame to cut any of the programs that represent what Bethel Park is, and that is success. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Tina Luck. I live at 5343 Main Street. I'm not a student, surprisingly. But I'm not going to be able to say it as well as these kids can. And I've had kids, all three of my kids have gone through foreign language at Bethel Park, and I have never been so proud to stand in front of children that I'm standing in front of now. And as far as everybody that's here, administrators, school board, people who are just listening, I know you've heard a lot of the same things over and over again, but I also see a lot of people not paying attention. Every single one of these children deserve to be heard. Nothing is more important in this room than what these kids are saying now. As I said, I am extremely proud that all of my children have been part of this language program in Bethel Park. And I'm going to start with Latin. You're the smallest ones, and I feel bad, but you are awesome. You are all awesome. My daughter's been with Mrs. Conrad since 7th grade, and everything about her is changed. She's strived for excellence. She settles for nothing but the best in herself because Mrs. Conrad told her that, or taught her, that nothing less than your best is acceptable. Your best may be an A, it may be a C, but your best always has to be the best. Aside from the fact that Latin is the basis for several languages and medicine, it is a challenge that far surpasses the French and Spanish programs. Due to the outstanding Latin education, Danielle has scored high enough to earn multiple awards on national Latin exams and National Honor Society. She's already receiving scholarship opportunities, and she's only a junior in high school. She's not the exception. Most of these kids, if not all of them, are just amazingly bright because they have the best teachers. My son took German with Mr. Tobias throughout his high school career and was taught much more than I could have dreamed. Mr. Tobias expected 100% from his students and gave nothing less than 100% of himself. By the middle of my son's sophomore year, the students were conversational and learned a great deal about the German culture. Now this kind of is a two-sided thing because you have your 10th graders and all their friends at your house, and they're fluently speaking conversational German. You have no idea what they're saying, which makes you very nervous. But I couldn't have been more proud than knowing that they had that ability at such a young age. During his sophomore year, my son was invited to attend a German camp at Millersville University. When those advisors learned that he was from Bethel Park, they were absolutely delighted that he was there. He was the most advanced student at the camp, including the seniors who were in attendance from other schools. Brandon began his college career last fall at Washington and Jefferson, where he was placed his first semester in a junior-level German course.
Ma'am, if you could wrap up, please.
Sure. He approached his advisor about the concern about the class being too difficult for him. His advisor asked where Brandon went to school, and when he found out that he studied at Bethel Park under Chris Tobias, he said, "Don't worry about it, you could sleep through this course." And he's not an exception. Many of his friends go to Pitt, Penn State, and numerous other colleges, and they've all had the same opportunities. The German program in Bethel Park has a statewide recognition and the utmost respect from many different German teachers. Losing these programs would be detrimental for more reasons than there's time to list. I implore you to look to other avenues to save money, such as releasing 2 of the 4 attorneys that are on retainer alone could save a substantial amount of money. I have to pay for my own cell phone, so make the administrators pay for their own cell phones. And when people need to talk, they don't get light up microphones. There are so many things that other kids talked about, the waste and cutting back. There are better ways to do it than cutting opportunities like this. And I can say with all certainty, my son would not be where he is today if it wasn't for the German program and Christopher Tobias and the scholarships that he got through that program that enabled him to be where he is now and to be in his second semester of his freshman year and looking into being a junior in a German, or a senior in the German class at Washington and Jefferson. Thank you.
It's Anita Podekar, 3544 Mapleview Drive. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, as you know, this household of ours has been very conscientious about budget balancing and also for good curriculum. I think it's a mistake to start cutting to balance the budget, eliminating good programs. The language program, you know how I feel about languages, is very important, and boy, they look great. It was very uplifting to hear their conversations. As a matter of fact, I've left you a few suggestions about possibly cutting the budget, and whoever the young man was that said, if we open the school in January, we save half the amount of the, I don't know how many, but we save administrative wages because we have moved to one building. And I might remind you that that was one of the big selling points, to have the one building to save administration. No offense to the administration, but those were the facts. So I think trying to say that what's good, keep. Your music program here and your language program, which you know how many suggestions I've given for expanding it, I think are most important. And I appreciate the time, but I think you ought to get your pencils out and go to some of the other areas. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chelsea Schmidt. I live at 5913 Dorland Drive. I'm a sophomore at the high school, and I'm in German 3 honors. And I'm reading a letter that was sent by Beverly Harris Shen's Associate Professor of German at the University of Pittsburgh, a Vice Provost of Faculty Affairs, Associate Dean for Undergrad Studies, won several awards for teaching excellence, aka she's pretty big. She writes, in today's globalized world, it is obvious that it is no longer inadequate for an educated person to be competent in only her native language and culture. It is evident that our contemporary world is becoming increasingly smaller, and that it is essential for Americans to have the ability to be conversant with people of other languages, cultures, and worldviews. With these alone would be sufficient reasons for maintaining broad-based foreign languages curricula in public schools. I am certainly an adamant supporter of these views. I realize that in times of budgetary constraint, one might be inclined to think that some languages are more important than others, and therefore difficult decisions are warranted. However, I wish to offer another very important reason for the continuance of the Bethel Park German program. This is a program that has demonstrated the highest degree of academic equality over a sustained period, and to dismantle it would be to strike a heart at the academic excellence at your school. I have been a member of the faculty administration of the University of Pittsburgh for more than 33 years, and during this time, I've had the privilege of teaching and working with scores of students who were products of the Bethel Park German program. First of all, at Pitt, I taught 2 current department heads of the high school German programs, Ms. Christina Hartman and Mr. Christopher Tobias, both whom were students of Mr. Paul Dietrich at Bethel Park. In addition, over the years, I have taught numerous students, including many with German as a major or even a double major. I am currently teaching 2 seniors, Monica Zieger, a German certificate student, and Valerie Allstott, a chemistry and German major. All of these students came to the University of Pittsburgh having had exceptional training at the high school level, thanks to the hard work and high expectations of Christopher Tobias.
Therefore, I think it would be an absolute travesty to consider jettisoning a program of such high quality, and I write to implore you and your colleagues to reconsider and to maintain the study of German at Independence Middle School and Bethel Park High School. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amanda Ruschel. I live at 1175 Clifton Road, and I'm here to read a letter that was sent by Garrett Betts, who graduated in 2002. Dear Superintendents, Directors, and Administrators, my personal and professional development benefited greatly from my participation in the German program, and I write to you today to impress its value upon you. I was in 6th grade when I first encountered the German language. I studied German with Frau Stein and Herr Tobias from then on, scoring a 5 on the AP German exam and placing 2nd in the state. First place was also another German student, Catherine Holmes. And this was a statewide German test their senior year. But you must already know that our German program produces the best foreign language students in the state. With this letter, I'm pressing you to look beyond the numbers and figures and see the powerful impact this program has on students. German in Bethel Park is more than a language learning process. It is a culture of hard work and earned achievement. In my time, no other place existed in Bethel Park High School where students were held more accountable, where rules and more meaning, and where acts had reliable consequences, good or bad, that were always spelled out clearly from the beginning. German students take these important life lessons with them into the rest of the school and forward into their adult lives. Bethel Park will suffer no matter what choices you make in the face of these steep budget cuts. I know that you can't keep everything, but I want you to know if you lose the German program, you will also lose the culture that it carries with its incredible value, and you may never find it again. Thank you. Hi, I'm Jessica Ruschel, and I live at 1175 Clifton Road. That was my twin sister you just heard talk, and you also heard my little brother Billy. German class is a place where family comes together. I think all of us at least have had one relative in our class, like in one of the classes. It's something where everyone takes it and like you just all get to talk together and it's so much fun. And my sister is like one of the top people in my class. You know, she's a Deutsche Beast and I'm very proud of her. And I love speaking with them because, you know, my parents never know what we're saying and it's kind of cool. And they always help me out. And it's just like our class. We always help each other out, and we're like one big happy family, and Hare's like our dad, and he's never going to leave one of us behind, and he's always going to take care of us. And he just makes sure that all of us knows what we're doing, and even if we're doing the worst, he still suspects that we have something underneath there that's going to come out, and we're going to shine, and he knows that we can do it. And I'm so proud to be a part of German, and I love everyone in German class, and I think it is such a special class for everyone to be a part of, and I would hate to see it taken away. Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Searles. I live at 853 Broughton Road, and I am yielding my minutes to Megan Crawford.
Hi, I'm Megan Crawford. I live at 5102 Orchard Avenue. I'm a senior at Bethel Park High School, and I'm an AP German 5. Our t-shirts say, für mich, für dich, für alle, which means for me, for you, for all. I truly feel that this describes our German department because it has something for everyone. For me, the German department is my high school career, and it's my future. German is the one class that I've had all 4 years of high school. Herr Tobias' German class kicked my butt into shape freshman year. His class is the one I had to study for, and I had to learn to study correctly. This helped me not only in German, but also in my other classes. Sophomore year taught me to memorize things. I had to memorize an entire poem in German, and I recited this poem at a competition at W&J. Though I didn't win this competition, I kept reciting poetry for this competition every year since because I had so much fun. Junior year is the year everybody prepares for the PSSAs. That means it's a lot of German or a lot of grammar lessons in English class. When we received the big packets in English to study for these grammars, and we reviewed the differences between who and whom, the whole class groaned. But the German students had virtually no problems with this. The English grammar rules for this who-whom problem were based off of the German ones, and that really helped out a lot. Not only did that help me in that class, but it also helped me on the PSSAs and on the SATs. My senior year benefits are the most out of all my years in the German program. In German class, we talk about politics, philosophy, and traditional German literature in addition to our grammar lessons, and all of it's in German. There's no English spoken, while we hold the same kinds of discussions as you'd find in my honors government class and my AP English classes. As for my future, German under Herr Tobias at Bethel Park has got me into college at W&J with a considerable scholarship, and it's taking me on a 10-month exchange to Germany. For you, the German department means test scores. On the Level 4 National German exam, Bethel Park has had at least 7 students in the top 10% of scores in Western PA, including the top 3 scores. For PSSAs and SATs, having a German program, especially one as strong as ours, is priceless. German teaches students about grammar and structure, and studies have shown that those who study a foreign language score higher on the SATs than any other, and German scores are higher than all the other foreign languages scores. For everyone, the German program means opportunity. You can compete in German at the W&J German Day competition, where we've held the first place award in the Coulter competition for the past 9 years straight, as well as dozens of other awards for individual writing and art. You can learn to be extremely proficient in a foreign language, which is more and more important in the global community that we live in. You can have the opportunity to travel, and the possibilities are endless, unless the program is cut. If the budget cuts include our German department, all the prestige and opportunity will be cut with it. You can't deny the future generations, the kids in elementary school and beyond, the chance to succeed in this program or in life. You can't deny them anything that this program would give them. Anstatt für mich, für dich, für alle, wäre es für niemand. Instead of for you, for me, for all, it would be for no one. There's a German idiom, wer die Wahl hat, hat die Qual, which means he who has the choice has the suffering. I know this is a hard choice, but please wait to make your decision on the budget cuts here until after the state's budget has been passed. The cuts may not actually end up being as severe as proposed, and hopefully you won't have to cut as much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrew Glade from 30 Santa Fe Drive. Diversity of classes and subjects taught by Bethel Park High School has long been a standard at such a high-quality school. The removal of languages from the language department is certainly unacceptable when trying to compete with schools such as Upper St. Clair and Mount Lebanon. There are many specific reasons outlining why German program must not be eliminated. Many Bethel Park students are able to trace at least part of their heritage back to a German-speaking country, which gives them a greater sense of connection to the language they are studying. German is the most common native language in continental Europe, making it a useful language when working and negotiating abroad. The AP German classes 4 and 5 are the only language classes where no English will be heard. The fluency level in the German program is the highest of all the foreign language programs in Bethel Park. Many German businesses have operations or U.S. headquarters in the Pittsburgh region, such as Bayer or Neugert. German history has played a major role in more recent world history, especially with the World Wars and, to a lesser extent, in the Cold War. German authors and Latin authors and composers have greatly influenced and contributed to world literature and music in general and in the Romanticism movement, which is taught in English and music classes in particular. The Bethel Park German program has produced 4 area Bethel Park teachers, and the Bethel Park German program has won the Culture Bowl at the Washington Jefferson German Day competition for the last 9 years straight, and received more prizes than any other school at the competition for many years in a row. We hope that the German program remains a vital part in the Bethel Park School District, not only for ourselves, but for the future of Bethel Park students in the community. Thank you for your time.
Hi, I'm Julia Klesch. I live on 4747 Prescott Drive, and I'm in German too. So I kind of have a story, but it's more like little stories in one story. Okay, so I started off and I had the choice to go to German 1 or German 2. And at first I started off that I was going to go to German 1. But then I was like, you know what, I'll take a chance and go to German 2. I did terribly. I failed all of my tests, and every time I failed, I just got, it was terrible. And I kept working though, and Hare kept on pushing and pushing. And then when the time came to pick our classes, I could go, well, I could have gone to German 3, but I'll never forget what Hare said. He told me if I went to German 3, it'd be like throwing me out into the wolves. And I didn't want to do that, so I had the choice to not continue in German or go to German 2 honors again. And like my friend Tom, he also went to German 2 again. And this year I'm doing like so great. That's good. And it's just like the classroom is my family, and I love all of those guys. And even the freshmen, I didn't know what it was going to be like. I didn't know what kind of people were going to come in. I love them so much. They're like my little freshies. And I mean, German means so much to me. It's just, I work hard, and, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, freshman year, I got a B on a quiz, and I was all excited, and I asked Herr Tobias for a high five. And he was like, Julia, when you get an A on a test, I'll give you that high five. And this year, I got an A, and I got my high five. It was really exciting. And just German is so important to me, and Latin too, I think. Latin, German, they're so important, and I want to go into medicine, and I know that both of those languages are important to go into there. And I can't think of the word, but I'm for German and Latin, and just don't cut it, because it means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to everyone else that's in it, and we all just love each other, and we're a big, happy family. That's all. Thank
you. My name is Haley Azari, and I live at 1201 McKnight Drive. I'm in level 2 honors, and I absolutely love German. I remember walking in on the day that Herr Tobias told us that German was thinking about being cut. We were all so upset. I'm pretty sure that 4 or 5 people walked out of there either crying or close to tears. I know I was pretty close. Just hearing that it's being even thought about is just kind of really upsetting, because it means so much to me, and Herr Tobias is probably the best teacher I've ever had. I remember walking in on the first day of German, and I was scared to death. I got out my binder and put it on my desk, and he gave us this list of rules. It was like 2 pages long, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? And I remember the first one on the list was German is an elective course, and you are here by choice. And he was right. We all are here by choice, and it was one of the best choices I've ever made, and now a choice is being given to you. And I really hope that you guys make the right choice, because German is really important to Bethel Park and to all the people involved in not only German but Latin too. So please, please don't cut German or Latin. Thank you.
Hi, my name's is Michelle Glade, and I live at 30 Santa Fe Drive, and I'm from the class of 2007. A lot of the points that I was going to make were already mentioned. For example, I believe it was Mr. Conkey who mentioned that his daughter said that she found a research paper, as did I, that was written all in German. And it was the perfect paper, except it was in German. And none of the other classmates that I had could read it. However, because I was able to read it, I was able to use this research paper in my college classes. Another point that a lot of people have been making was that German helps you become better at English. I found that this was especially true whenever going through grammar points. For example, in a lot of the English classes in high school, we would be learning about grammar. Now, this grammar we had already covered in German class, so that was especially helpful, both for those classes and then later for the PSSAs. Another way that German has helped me was it helped with friendship. A lot of the people in my German classes, they traveled with me from class to class, usually AP or honors classes, and these people really became my friends because all through middle school it was really tough making friends, as I'm sure a lot of people have also experienced. So in a lot of ways, the German students were my friends, and then later they became my family. In the German classes, everyone knew who was good at what. For example, you knew this person was especially good at grammar, or this person was especially good at speaking. And then later you would learn, okay, this person is really good in my AP European class, so therefore I can talk to him or her for help. So it just became one big family in there. And then finally, German has helped me in my confidence. For example, in a lot of my early German years, I would do especially poorly on different tests and quizzes. Heck, in my later German years, I would also do poorly in my tests and quizzes. However, by taking German, I was able to get through it and push myself harder, and I knew that I really wanted to do well, so that really helped me in the program, and then in future life as well. And then, for example, too, by increasing my confidence through German, I was able to learn, okay, maybe I do have what it takes to eventually become a future educator. So I would just ask everyone, please don't cut German. It's a very good program. It helps keep Bethel Park competitive against the other local area school districts, and I would really hate to see it go, not just for myself, but also for future generations. Thank you.
Julie Buckwald, 5895 Wilson Drive. I'm in the minority here as a student of Mrs. Conrad's honors Latin class. And in the first year of me taking Latin, I received the Cum Laude Award because of the excellent training from Mrs. Conrad. Bethel Park High School has always had the reputation of producing some of the best and the brightest students. And a very important piece of this education has been in the area of foreign languages, especially in German and Latin. We all understand that the new budget for Bethel Park, like everywhere else in our nation, may require some very difficult cuts, but German and Latin and the foreign language must be protected and remain intact in order for the district to continue to produce graduates that are best equipped to compete in the global world from an educational, political, economic, and cultural perspective. It is imperative that Bethel Park keeps German and Latin in the school district. Foreign language study must continue to be a core element in our children's education. Proficiency in more than one language benefits both the learner and the society. Research has demonstrated over and over again a positive link between second language proficiency and cognitive and academic ability. Learning another language enhances knowledge of English structure and vocabulary, especially when the language has Latin roots. We all understand that the school budget has to be managed in a responsible manner, which may result in the reduction of services or resources to our children, but foreign languages should not be in the area in which cuts are made. Foreign language is key in the success of our students, not only as individuals, but also as citizens. Please work to preserve the integrity of foreign language education at Bethel Park High Schools. Thank you, Mrs. Conrad.
Caitlin Michael, 1611 McCully Road. I stand up here and you've already judged me. You've said, who's this girl with the big bow and the crazy black eyeliner? Why should I listen to her? You must think, oh, she's a bad kid, she's a bad influence. But this week, I found out I made NHS. So what does that say about first impressions? A quick story about first impressions. 7th grade, my first day of Latin class. I walk into the room, and there's this nice lady, Mrs. Conrad, and she introduces herself. And then we hear a story about how a large pig eats its farmer. I didn't mix up the words. And I thought, who's this crazy lady? What is she trying to teach me? How is this going to help me? But I stand here now, and I'm in Latin 3 honors, and I absolutely love it. I don't say when I want to grow up, I want to be this. I say when I grow up, I'm going to be a geneticist. And Latin is helping me build that medical foundation. And it's just a shame that you guys are trying to take that away based on first impressions when you don't know any of this, any of us, or the course, or any achievements that have been in it. And I just want to say that you shouldn't judge on first impression or by Latin size or anything like that. You should judge by the achievements people have made in it and for the futures to come. So, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christine Rauch, 5343 Main Street. Oh, sorry, I'm just loud. I could talk to you about how important the German program is and the Latin program is, but these kids have already done that. So I'm going to tell you about how important it is for in high school to have the opportunity to be a well-rounded individual. Not every student here is going to go to a liberal arts college and learn that. When you are in high school, it is great to be able to have the opportunity to say, I took a foreign language, or I was in music, and I myself wouldn't be in, I am a graduate, will be a graduate of Seton Hill University for theater performance, and that is because of the music program at Bethel Park. I started when I was in first grade with Mrs. Tricia Quinquay until I graduated in 2006 with Mr. Kizawa. And that's something to think about. I understand that cuts need to be made. And, you know, I'm the kid who probably should have taken a home economics class because I'm putting in front of a stove and I freak out. But these are things that you need for the kids. If you want your kids to go to college, you really do need to start with being well-rounded. English, math, social studies, and science, yes, they are important. They're a foundation. But you are not going to get anywhere because there are going to be 1,000 kids with the same grades. It's the extracurriculars that send you over the top. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susan Pettipiece, Bethel Park High School class of 1961. When we were required to take Latin prior to choosing our foreign language. I've lived in Bethel all my life. I'm here at the request mainly of my youngest child. I have 4 children, all of whom have learned a lot in the Bethel schools, and especially in the language programs. But we've established tonight we have an outstanding German program. We have a passionate German teacher and wonderful German students, as well as Latin students, too. I'd like to turn this, though, around a little bit and direct it back to the older people sitting behind the desk instead of the youngsters in the red shirts. This will probably sound familiar. It's part of the mission statement of Bethel Park School District. It says to challenge the students to meet their potential, to become lifelong learners and responsible members of society. Sounds like a pretty big job, especially on a small budget. The problem here is that we're trying to help them reach their potential, but sometimes we don't know what that potential is until they're a lot older. And when you reduce the choices of things they're able to learn, I think the chances of them becoming lifelong learners diminishes. I'd like to say that I have 4 children, and they have become lifelong learners. My youngest, especially because of Herr Tobias. She selected Spanish as her language, and after a few weeks decided that was not her choice. She wanted to take German, but Herr Tobias said he would not accept any students because it was too late, and this just wasn't the way it was going to work. However, I called the only time in my whole life that I ever interfered with the educational process of one of my children, and he relented. This is true. And she turned out to be one of his strongest German students. Now, I'm speaking from the experience as a mother of 4. I also taught for 15 years in our rival Upper St. Clair School District. I lived for a short amount of time in Mount Lebanon. I have degrees in curriculum and supervision from Pitt, and also a master's in education from Duquesne, and undergraduate from Penn State. In all of this, just be careful, because the last thing you want to make smaller or diminish in any way is your curriculum. However you manage, you really need to save the academic program that has been built so strongly here in Bethel Park. Just be very careful, because it's extremely valuable. Once it's lost, it can't be replaced. And then let me just add a note. I am retired, my husband's retired, we live in Bethel Park. We'd hope that our property, when we sell it, is going to be competitive with Mount Lebanon property and Upper St. Clair property. Bethel Park does not have the biggest houses in those communities.
Susan, if you could wrap up, please.
So what you want to do is to keep extremely, extremely strong educational program. This will draw the people moving to Pittsburgh for jobs in their selection of homes for their children, that they want to have a good education. Thank you.
I'll move into board comments, or do we want to forgo board comments this evening since it's kind of a late hour? Are we okay? I need a motion to adjourn then.
Move we adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.